This video is brought to you by my latest book, How to Play Melodic Rock Lead Guitar, a comprehensive guide to doing exactly that, playing melodic rock lead guitar. This is not just some collection of scale patterns and tabs, although you do get plenty of those, but you also get an entire chapter on how to come up with your own licks, as well as video content, tutorials and demonstrations, loads of jam tracks, and all the way through I'm encouraging you to expand your fretboard knowledge and showing you how you can think in a more musical and melodic way. Check out the link in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. It's Monday today, so we're doing some kind of lead guitar related lesson, and we're back on the blues today, as you can tell. Incidentally, I've found that if I put a blues up on YouTube, as long as it's not in the key of A, then I'm usually okay. If I do a blues in the key of A and put it up on YouTube, then the copyright wombles turn up and help themselves to the contents of my wallet. So that one was in G, and what I was doing there in a few places, perhaps you noticed, was using some double stops. Now I've done videos on double stops in the past in this series, but I don't think I've done anything relating to blues double stops, using them in a blues context, because it is slightly different to using them in just like a regular, what would be a song that uses double stops, something like Brown Eyed Girl by Van Morrison, that little intro riff, that's double stops based, It's different when you do it in blues, and here is a little bit of an explanation as to why.
Here is the explanation.
Right, so I thought I'd lay the video out like this today so you can kind of see some tab and notes and so on. This is the chord sequence I was playing over earlier, a standard 12-bar blues in the key of G, G7, C7 and D7. And where you can sort of run into a little bit of a problem when you're playing a blues kind of thing is it's one of the sort of things that inherently makes blues sound bluesy, in that all three of those chords don't belong together in the same key. A G7 chord comes from the key of C, a C7 chord comes from the key of F, and a D7 chord comes from the key of G. So, you got to think of every little chord change as being a sort of mini modulation, if you like. So what I've done here is I've mapped out some thirds in G mixolydian. As you can see, G mixolydian is the parent scale of a G7 chord. And then I've written the scale out here, and then I've partnered each note up with the note a third above it. What I mean by a third is if we count G as note 1, then B is note 3. So those two notes are buddied up like that, and then we just maintain that sort of relationship in kind of keeping that thirds arrangement going, so A and C, because A, count up 3 notes, 1, 2, 3, takes you up to C, and so on, okay? And then because we already have a pair of strings which are tuned to two of the notes that we're kind of looking at here, the G note and the B note, it maps out very nicely on the second and third strings. If you look at this 1990s style internet tab that I've got kind of shown here. So this is what I would recommend. Just learn that as being your sort of master pattern. You don't really need to learn the C7 and D7 double stops from scratch. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do a little bit of copying and pasting. Okay, and then let's bring this down to here. And this time I'm just going to change where I need to. So we're going to look at the C7 chord this time, and the parent scale of C7 is C Mixolydian, and the notes in that scale are, well, I'll just type them out here. The notes in that scale are C, D, E, F, G, A and B flat. Okay, so all you've got to do is change any B notes in the G Mixolydian thirds and make them into B flats. So we can do that right here. We can turn that B into a B flat. We can turn that B into a B flat. And then suddenly we've got, okay, it's not starting on the C note, but that doesn't really matter. You know, we're not necessarily worried about which note we start on when we're playing a lick. What we do have though is we can't really use this B note here, so I'm going to take the G note out that is buddied up with it. So let's get rid of those down there. Like, oh, let's move that along. There we go. So now we've got the A and the C. Well, we know that's good. That's in the C Mixolydian. We've got B and D. Well, we don't want B, we want B flat. So we just lower it down a fret. So it becomes the 3rd fret rather than the 4th fret. And let's change that note there. E and C. Well, yeah, or C and E rather. That's good. That's in our C Mixolydian. D and F. That's pretty good. E and G, yeah, we're good to go with that, and F and A, yeah, we can live with that. But this B here needs changing into a B flat, and we do that by dropping it down 1 fret to the 11th fret. And now we've got some double stops that we can use in C Mixolydian, or when we hit the C7 chord up there. Let's just move this over a little bit here so that's not quite sort of crowding it so much. And then I better save this document as I'm going along. Then all we need to do now to get the D7 double stops is let's just copy down the G7 once again and change things around. So again, it's a D7 and the parent scale for that is going to be D Mixolydian. So let's write in the notes of that D, E, F sharp, G, A, B and C, which is identical to what we started with. The only difference is that the F note in the G Mixolydian has become an F sharp in the D Mixolydian. So once again, we just need to change that. So we make that F into an F sharp, and we make that F into an F sharp, and then we find where those notes live in the tab that we've got here. We've got G and B, they're good. We've got A and C, they're good. We've got B and D, they're good. We've got C and E, yeah, we're fine with those. D and F though, well, we want to change that F there to an F sharp. So we'll just change it from a 6th fret on the 2nd string to a 7th fret on the 2nd string, and that is now an F sharp. E and G, that's absolutely fine. As we can see, that's in the scale that we've got there. F and A, well, we don't want F, we want F sharp. So we move it up from the 10th fret to the 11th fret, and then we're back to where we started an octave higher again. So what it is, it's just basically learn this little pattern here. You can do that probably in one practice session, and then just learn where you need to tweak it in order to you know, make it fit the C7 chord or the D7 chord. And that's exactly what I was doing in that little solo that you heard earlier, where I was using the double stops. I wasn't using them all the time, all the way through the solo. If you do something to the exclusion of everything else, then that just gets a little bit boring. But where I was using these double stops, I think I was probably using them mainly in this bar here or this bar here, essentially where you're kind of transitioning from one chord to another at a kind of point in the solo. Usually when you're listening to a backing track, the drummer will put a fill in the fourth bar of every line. So it's almost like you're kind of putting these kind of runs or something like this in to coincide with a drum fill. It doesn't have to be like that, but that tends to be a good way of starting it or thinking about it. So just learn the G7 ones and then kind of modify them so that they become C7 ones, and then modify them differently so they become D7 double stops. That's really all there is to it. It can slim down the amount of learning of stuff from scratch that you need to do. There you have it, some Mixolydian double stops for the use in a blues context. Now you know what to do. Go away and have some fun with it. And as always, you'll find a full tab for that solo that we kicked the video off with in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it, that explanation you've just seen there, and a jam track to play along with yourself. That is all, as usual, up on my Patreon page. There's the address. Link in the description. As I'm sure you know by now, it's $3 or £3-ish a month to get access to all of these goodies and tabs and jam tracks and stuff that go along with these YouTube videos. And a massive, heartfelt, sincere, humongous thank you to everybody who supports me in that or any of the other ways, all of which are downstairs in the description. And that's your lot for today, I'm afraid. A little bit of a video on blues double stops. Hope you've enjoyed it and found it useful and informative in some small way. And if that's the case, why not hit the subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already done so, and drop me a like as well while you're at it. And of course, don't forget the live stream every Friday 5 PM UK time. Beer and chat on a Friday. It's a great way to kick off the weekend. I'd love to see you there if you can make it, but for now I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.